Hello, Gemini. Thank you for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. Supportive Oracle Cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle Cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen Raish Baskin. Yeah. I've mentioned this in the other ones. So, if you're looking for new card decks, you might want to look up one of these creators. I looked up Stacey DeMarco within the last month or so. I think the website she's a part of links to a bunch of really good decks. So I remember I personally fell down that rabbit hole for a while. So if you're a person that's a deck enthusiast or know somebody who is, that might be worth going for. Or checking out, whatever you want to do. Okay. All right. So, a smattering of energy here. This seems to be like how all of these are. It's like there's good and bad happening at the same time. Although is yours really even bad? I'm saying that, and I'm seeing a lot of weird energy happening in the center. But for you, I think you're doing quite well. What's starting this off is something is like we're trying to recover something. I think for a lot of you, this might be work. Take that with a grain of salt. You know how this is going to hit. Could be anything. Family, friends, whatever you got going. But for a lot of you, I think this is going to be work. Because I feel recovery coming in. Kind of like something that wasn't going that well. Something that maybe we weren't handling. Or we had to change how we were handling. We had to change some type of some type of process. So it's almost like something wasn't going that well and we had to change it. And we're recovering the whole situation. So things are looking like they're starting to come back, they're starting to get better. And renewal is showing up in the environment. Like that recovery is causing renewal to happen, which is good. But let's see, we haven't gotten your cards aren't coming in yet. With the renewal and the recovery, it's the acknowledging of what went wrong, giving way to the new hope. But for some reason here, someone has to like acknowledge what choices they made. I don't think it's you, but other people. There's somebody else here who's kind of like, I made a choice. It was a bad choice, but now we're recovering from it. It's the admitting to that misstep that allowed recovery to happen, which is ushering in the renewal. So somebody is acknowledging their faults. That's good. That's leading to the new hope. This is also sometimes an Aquarius energy, which is compatible with you. Basically, like the truth is coming out. It may not come out may not be the most pretty moment, the most beautiful moment, the way it's coming out, but it's being addressed. It is being addressed. When it's being addressed, this is something you're paying attention to. You get the Emperor here with the Faith card, and the Emperor seems to be sitting there quite comfortably. I know you're Gemini, it's a Gemini read, but this is talking about Aries energy. You might be taking on some of this Aries energy. Not so much about pushing forward the truth, yet more about absorbing the truth. Somebody is admitting their faults. Somebody's flat out saying, I did something I shouldn't have done, and now that I'm admitting that, we can recover from it and go a different direction. And you're very much noticing this, kind of like, I think you very much like this, kind of like somebody is admitting that they did something they shouldn't have. They thought it was right at the time, turned out it wasn't. Admitting their wrong step, correcting it. You're noticing this. You're absorbing this. You're like, you know what, this person, they have the guts to at least live honestly and do things the way they need to be done. And when they do something they shouldn't, they're accountable for that, and they own it like the way they should. At the same time, you're noticing other people. This is where it's really kind of sinking in. Other people were a part of this, and you know it. You know it. I don't know if everybody knows it, but you're looking at this like, yeah, that one, they may have been the leader of that moment, but they had a lot of support for that. And they had a lot of other people who were like, cheering them on and believed it was also the right thing. They may be the one who's taking the blame. They may be taking it for the team, if you will. But they're not the only one to blame. And I feel like that's how you're looking at this. Kind of like, maybe they're taking ownership of the whole situation, but it's not just their fault. And I think that's what you're seeing. And this is not just their fault. There's other people here who are also to blame who are not saying anything. And you're noticing that. Situation perseveres, keeps going forward. Things do get better, continue to recover. We got renewal that's definitely happening here. Now, what's going on here? It's the other ones. It's something about the other energy around here. Because the Ace of Wands comes in here and something else is coming forward a little bit too fast. Because it's coming in with confusion, which the Ace of Wands coming in with the backup of confusion is basically something that's coming in too fast. And I feel like you see these people trying to get something to go. They're trying to get something to go forward. It doesn't seem to make sense. Now, when you're seeing something and there's confusion involved, it basically means that it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's like looking at an accounting ledger, and it's kind of like these should both balance at 0 at the end, and they don't. So you're like, that doesn't make sense. And they're saying, oh, no, that's fine, that's great. And you're like, no, it doesn't. That doesn't make sense, that's not fine. And I see you like, it's these same people who didn't take accountability before. Somebody else was the scapegoat, they let that person be the scapegoat, and you're like, okay. And now you're seeing them do it again, and they're telling you everything's good, everything's fine, and you're like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And I feel like you're just kind of like not calling it out with the facade, but you're also like seeing this right in the beginning, and you're like, I'm going to distance myself from these train wrecks. I'm going to just walk away from this. It's one of those things where you're like, you know what? I don't see me fixing this. And I almost see you looking at it that way. Like, I got a lot of other things going on. I can't get involved in that and fix that. I know that's not right, but that's going to be a fight and a half to prove it. I'm going to just deal with what I need to deal with. I'm going to step away from that. I'm just going to disconnect from it totally, and they're going to have to deal with what they have to deal with. Because you're not going to be their scapegoat. And it's almost like you know that's going to fail. Whatever they're doing, it's going to fail, and you're like, I'm not going to be the scapegoat for that. In the actual environment, self-worth, gratitude, and the 5 of Cups. The gratitude is very interesting because people are trying to make something go forward, and they're trying to make it work out better. The self-worth is kind of wondering, like, why are we pushing so hard when we know something is off? And the 5 of Cups is like, there's a lot of people who see that this is already off. Now, even though before somebody else took the blame for the whole situation, I think it's becoming more apparent who the actual problem is, or who the other, like, it seems like there's a couple people who are the actual problem. And I'm getting the 5 of Cups is like, when this is coming forward and they're trying to push forward something, it's like, no, this isn't right. And you're not the only one who saw it this time. This time, you're not the only one who saw it. You're just stepping out of the situation. I think this is smart. Other people are seeing it too. And I think that might be also the gratitude. You don't have to deal with it. Other people are going to deal with this. Because it's not making sense. It's not making sense, and I feel like other people are asking the right questions, and they're starting to debunk this situation. Same people who are really a part of the first one, who wouldn't share in the blame, they're a part of this one too, which is another reason why you're stepping out. Like, nope, not going to be their scapegoat. But other people are starting to question, like, what are they doing, and why do they think this is going to work? And now they're starting to realize that these same people were tied to that other time too. And people are like, wait a minute, something isn't right here. They're a little bit late to the party. They're figuring it out. A little bit late to the party. You already saw this, and I think you're stepping out, and I think that's smart. Now, this is just something you don't need to be a part of. It is not going to help you to be a part of. Stepping out of it is a really smart idea. Because next I see you coming in with the High Priestess. which makes me feel like you're a problem solver with this situation. Because people are debunking it and they're like, that doesn't make sense, we can't do this. These people who are trying to they're trying to solve or move something forward that wasn't going to work, they seem to be pushed to the side a little bit. And I'm getting more of an energy of kind of like, all right, now we need somebody else to step in and help us figure out what's really supposed to happen here. Is there a way we can fix this? Because this doesn't make sense. Like, if I'm going to do the accounting thing again for some reason. At the end of an accounting ledger, both sides should balance to 0. And you know that. You might be able to, I think you're going to have an opportunity to step in and be like, all right, the good thing we can see, you might even start off that way. The good thing we know here is that we can see that it's out of balance. And nobody tried to fudge the numbers to force it to fit. So it's almost like you're saying, we see that it's out of balance, we can find it. A lot of times in these situations, somebody will see something's off, and they'll try to correct it by just writing it off here or writing it off there and try to force it to fit so that the ledger will go to 0 at the end. That didn't happen here. So at least we're going to be able to find the problem. Now we have to start hunting through and finding out where it is. And I feel like that's how you're going to come into this. Kind of like, you know what, the gift is, we can obviously see there's a problem. At least it's not hidden. At least nobody tried to hide it. That's a good thing. So now that we know that, now we got to start sifting through and find it. And that seems to be your energy saying, you know what, let's look at the positive here. At least it's obviously wrong and we can find it. We don't have things falling apart here and we're going, what's wrong? Why is this happening? We can see that there's obviously a problem. People have a lot of faith in you because you're coming towards it. You're keeping it very simple. I feel like you're keeping it very simple. Kind of like, yep, we knew that there's obviously a problem here because of this. Let me pull back. Let me see if I can sift through it a bit, and I'll see if I can find out what it is. And once I find out what it is, I'll bring that back to everybody, and we can decide what to do with it from there. People love that because they just need somebody to find out, like, where did the problem happen? And you're like, let me sift through it. I'll find it. And I feel like that's your energy here. I'll find it. A miracle comes in, like you're fixing it. But then the gossip is coming in. Don't be a part of that. The miracle is, I feel like, not that you're fixing it, because I feel like you're just like, well, of course I'm going to fix it. The miracle is that we're finding out, or the people here are finding out who really the problem is here. Because, these people, again, didn't take ownership of the first error that they should have, and you kind of saw that. The second one, they're blatantly, obviously, a part of that. And then there's people connecting the dots. These people who are the problem here in the second time, and they really don't know what they're doing. They were a part of that first one, too, and they didn't seem to take any ownership of that. The other person took all the blame. And people are, putting 2 and 2 together, that ain't right. That's the miracle. Because that needs to be seen. Because the longer it's not seen, the more problems we're going to have in this situation. There's gossip going on here. Don't just stay away from it. It's good. The situation will take care of itself. Because there's going to be a lot of gossip going back and forth. Don't be a part of it. Just stay out of it. The thing is with Gemini and air signs, they get very curious and they want to know what other people are thinking. They want to garner more information, so that might kind of entice you in, kind of like, what is going on here? You want to know the information, right? You want to know more of the ins and outs. You want to know, wait, what did happen there? Wait, how did that happen? But that's also another warning, kind of some of it's just flat out gossip, as in it's made up. Or it's either flat out made up, or somebody, when you play telephone when you're in elementary school, you have 10 people in a line. Somebody reads off their first sentence to themselves, and then they whisper it to the next person, they whisper it to the next, you know what I mean? By the time it gets to the end of the line, the first person may have read it off the page, I would like a chocolate chip cookie. By the time it gets to the last person, Timmy smacked Sally. How did you get that from I Want a Cookie? Timmy smacked Sally, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It changes so much. I don't think there's anything else with this other than that. Just realize that when the gossip comes in, just stay out of it because you're not going to get any good information out of it. I'm not worried about you participating in the gossip, like making it worse. I just feel like you might hear things and it may sound like things. No, it's all bull. It's just nothing is going to be real there. Just don't even go. Let the situation take care of itself. Don't even bother with it. It ends well though. Like there's nothing else there. Like, is there something else I'm supposed to get from this? No, I think we're good. All right, I'm gonna shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.